Okay, friends, let's get started. So we'll start on the back. If you can, if it's accessible to you, to your low back, to your shoulders, then spread yourself out with long legs as wide as the mat, and also arms overhead as wide as the mat. What I call starfish position, or an X. That you're very long across the body, and consider the navel the center. Take a moment to just feel breath coming in and breath going out. And each time the breath goes out, feel that you can melt just a bit into the floor. Someone said, I need to let go. Just thinking of letting go just a little with each exhale. Letting the body melt to the floor and letting the floor really come up and meet the body and support you. We're going to take a little starfish expansion and contraction. So as you inhale, let it radiate from the navel outward. Fill the belly, the rib cage, the upper chest. Extend toes and fingertips in opposite directions. At the top, hold for just a moment. Everything full, and then release, exhale. Let the energy come back towards the navel, toward the center. Let the limbs retract. And then take a soft breath or two in between. And then we'll repeat this. Inhale, belly, ribs, upper chest. Send the fingertips and the toes out to the corners. Hold at the top, full. Exhale, release everything. Again, melt to the floor. Let the breath leave you. Soften the limbs. Couple of recovery breaths. Just easy. And then one more time. Inhale, belly, rib cage, upper chest. Extend fingers and toes. Hold at the top. And then exhale. Let it go. Let it go. Bring the legs back to the center line. Bring the arms back down by your sides. Give a hug to your right knee. Left leg long, if that's okay for you. But if not, bend that left knee. Place the sole of the foot on the floor. Hugging that right knee in with your hand to your knee or to your shin. Just take a little movement of that knee out to the side and back to the center. Just opening up the hip, getting the synovial fluids moving. Good, and then bring the knee to the center line. Inhale right at the navel once again. As you exhale, curl the spine, lift that left leg off the floor and bring the forehead towards the knee. So this is all coming from the core. Round the back, long spine, hold, and then release. Send that right leg up towards the ceiling, clasp hands behind the right thigh, point and flex through the foot. Just really open the whole foot, top of the foot, bottom of the foot, pointing and flexing. Good, and then take circles with the foot, opening the ankle. Having this resilience and mobility through the ankle is so important. Take the foot in the other direction. It helps us with balance. It helps us find balance when we're off balance. God forbid if we fall. So it's really important to keep that particular joint functioning optimally. And then bend the left knee, place sole of the foot on the floor. We're going to take figure 4. Right ankle crosses just above the knee on the thigh. And bring the whole thing in. Thread the hands behind the left thigh. Little flex through that right foot. Some sensation in the right buttock or hip or inner leg. Just see how much sensation you want to bring up. And then release. Shake the legs out a little bit. And then we'll take the other side, hugging that left knee in. Right leg is long or the knee is bent. Good. And then holding on to that left knee or shin, move the knee into the center line and out to the side. Just let the leg really rest in the arm so that the leg isn't doing the work. You can just really find some ease for that hip joint, for that ball and socket. And then bring the knee back to the center line, hug it toward you. Inhale from the navel. Exhale, navel to spine. Lift that right leg off the floor. Point the toes and bring the forehead up towards the knee. Round the spine. Lengthen, I should say. So we're not holding in the jaw or the neck. This is all really coming from the powerhouse, the fire of the core. And then release back down, figure 4. Bend the right knee, sole the foot on the floor, bend the left knee, cross it over, flex through that left foot, draw the whole thing in. And notice how it is for you on this second side. So for those of you who wrote into the chat, and really for all of us, when we answer this question, I need blank, can you then turn that into a positive statement that you're going to carry with you as your little kavanah through our time today? So for instance, if you said, I need to let go, you might say, with each exhale, I soften. Right, just an example. So can you turn your I need statement into a little guiding light, little kavanah for our class. Take the knees and just hug them in. Can rock a little side to side. You can stay here on the floor. You can make your way up to sitting while I teach, up to you. A few minutes of teaching and then we'll continue. Okay, so once again, today's the 24th of Adar, and Rosh Chodesh Nisan, the month of Pesach, is coming. Rosh Chodesh Nisan is Saturday night, Motzei Shabbat, and Sunday. So this Shabbat is the finishing of the book of Exodus, and also it's called Shabbat HaChodesh, the Shabbat of the month, i.e. the month of Nisan, which is the first month in Torah, and a very important month, the month of our liberation. And Shabbat HaChodesh is the last of 4 specially named Shabbatot, known as Shabbat Mevarchim, the Shabbat of blessing the new month, which comes each month as we make blessing for the next month. So the Mishkan is finished. All the efforts are recounted. Pekudei is not a long Torah portion, but all the efforts are recounted. The materials used are recorded. Once again, the Mishkan itself is anointed. Aaron and his sons are brought forward. They're washed, anointed, consecrated as priests, as Kohanim. The Torah text says, Lichunat olam ledorotam. This, their anointing, shall serve them for everlasting priesthood throughout the ages. And then Moses sets up the altar, and makes a burnt offering. And then the portion ends with the following. When Moses had finished the work, the cloud, the Anan, covered the tent of meeting, and the presence of Yud-He-Vav-He, Kevod Adonai, Kevod Hashem, filled the tabernacle. Moses could not enter the tent of meeting because the cloud had settled upon it, and the presence of the Lord filled the tabernacle. When the cloud lifted from the tabernacle, the Israelites would set out on their various journeys. But if the cloud did not lift, they would not set out until such time as it did lift. For over the Mishkan, a cloud of the Lord rested by day, and fire, Esh, would appear in it by night, in the view of all the house of Israel throughout their journeys. Le'inei chol Beit Yisrael bechol mas'ehem. And so ends the journeying of the book of Exodus. And then, of course, we'll say chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek, that we should be strong as we finish a book of Torah. And then we go on to Leviticus from here. So the idea of building this inner Mishkan, this inner space of sanctity, of refuge, of sanctuary, an inner space of connection and contact with divine will, with a sense of knowing, you might say, a sense of connection and of softening. We need to find resilience in our system and flexibility and strength for our journey and an alertness of our nervous system. So this inner building of the Mishkan isn't one and done, but it's ongoing, and we continue with it even as the book of Shmot closes. So I think that's really what our yoga practice in essence is about, building this space of Mishkan for ourselves so that we can go out to the world in our service and our avodah with clarity and a knowledge of what it is we are placed here to do. So let's practice. Let's continue in our practice. Please come to quadruped, or you could do this seated in the chair if it's not so good for your wrists. So either we're here and the wrists are below the shoulders and the knees are below the hips. You could also take fists if that's easier on your wrists. You could also put the blanket up a little bit to lessen the angle at the wrists, or you can be seated. Let the navel gently hug the spine to support length in the back. As we inhale, we drop the belly, lift the tailbone, widen the collarbones, and send the gaze forward, arching. As we exhale, we curl, navel to spine, dropping the tail and the crown, a nice C curve, pressing the floor away. Inhale and lengthen. And just keep going with this, exhaling and curling in your own time. And of course, if you're seated in the chair, just feeling that shift forward and back on the sitting bones that form the base of the pelvis. So just starting to dive in here, connecting breath to movement. Inhaling and exhaling, opening and closing. Good, and then come back to center. Again, let the navel hug the spine. Send your right leg out to the side. The foot is down. Good, and you can be on your hands or you can be on your elbows, on your forearms as you wish, and we're going to just come back and forth a little bit. This is for the inner line of the leg. So sitting back and coming forward, and just notice the change of sensation. Really take your pubic bone into length. So you come back. And you can pause anywhere along the way. If you're bringing up some strong sensation and you want to stay with it, Just starting to open up this inner line before we get to our standing poses. Little more movement for the hip as well in a different way. And then come on back and take the other side. I'm spinning around. You don't have to. I'm just doing so because my wall is in the way. Take the left leg out. And same thing. Drag the pubic bone back. Send the crown of the head forward. Back and forth with the hips. If you're a runner or a hiker or a walker, this is also a really nice stretch to do before you head out. Keep the breath flowing and moving, and check in with that little kavanah statement you set for yourself. Let that be the guiding color, feeling tone for your Mishkan building in this session, right? We have each an individual path. Bring that left leg in, tuck the toes under, come to a squat or a ragdoll. Take your time through each one, and we're just eventually coming to roll up. Really take your time. That's the name of the game. And as you're ready, rolling up vertebra by vertebra to a standing position. Find an easy, soft mountain pose. Feel your feet, feel your foundation. Feel your shoulder blades squarely on your back. Take your outer shoulders away from your ears. Long neck. Easy at the base of the skull. Great. And we're going to take triangle pose to start with. Actually, you know what? I want to build on that stretch we did first. I think it'd be kind of nice. Take your legs wide. And we're just going to go side to side, kind of like I think skiers and skaters do this one. You can use your arms in any way you like, maybe forearms to the thighs. Maybe you want to come a little lower, but just check this out for yourself as you go side to side with the hips. You can work your core a little more by taking the arms out, drawing the navel in, really making your legs work. Long spine. And when you're ready, come on up. Hopefully we built a little heat there. We'll take the right side first. So left toes in, right toes out. The front heel bisects the back arch. Triangle pose has a lot of aspects to it. The main first thing is that the hips, it's as if they sort of shift along a conveyor belt. So let's just work on that shift of the hips first. So inhale, fill the space of your body. Exhale, shift the hips and let the torso come over a little. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, shift. So you can take a little or a lot, but just starting to work with that shift. Both legs are straight. There's no bend in the knees, right? We're just moving the hips, and then the long spine follows. Good, so feel the activation of the legs and the foundation. And then let's come into the pose. Hands can stay on the hips if you like, or you can extend both arms out to the sides. Inhale, and then exhale, shift the hips, lengthen the torso out. Good, and then when you are where you want to be, you can take the hand down. So maybe it comes to your shin, or a block, or a chair. Top arm can stay at your side, or it can extend up toward the ceiling. You have choices here. So the order I'm taking it in is we find the legs, and then we find the length of the spine, tailbone to crown, one line. And then you can start to spin, if you like, bringing the right rib cage under you, spinning the heart up towards the ceiling, and then taking the gaze up. So there's side bend, and there's lengthening, and there is twist that follows in the spine. There's a lot happening in this pose. When you're ready, press into the feet, inhale and come on up. Turn the feet. But we can always kind of just single out parts of it, right? If we don't want to add that spin of the rib cage, we can just work on the legs and the lengthening. So once again, going to the other side, check your alignment of the legs here, and then we're going to just work on shifting the hips side to side. So it's inhale and it's exhale. Move the hips, move the spine. Inhale, center. Exhale. It's like we deepen that. Inhale, come up, exhale. So just play with this a little bit. Coordinating breath and movement, really diving your attention into the movement. And then come on up. Extend the arms. Inhale. Exhale. Shift the hips. Shift the torso. Bring the hand down the leg. Again, finding wherever you're going to land there, right? If you'd like, top arm comes up. Legs straight, spine straight. Inhale, find length. And then you can exhale and start to work on that twist, starting to bring the left ribs under you. So each vertebra really from the tailbone lengthens, opens, and brings us into the twist that takes our gaze up. So maybe that's for you and maybe it's not, depending on your spine and particularly cervical spine. You can check that out. And then press into the feet, inhale, and come up. We're going to turn the feet. And now we're going to come into side angle. So inhale, hands to the hips or arms out. Shoulder height. Exhale, coming into warrior two. Inhale, forearm to thigh, or hand to chair or block. Good. Exhale, find length from the back, outer foot, all the way to the crown of the head. Good. And then inhale, if you'd like, arm can stay here, or you can inhale, bring the arm up and overhead, and exhale and extend through the fingertips, finding that long line. And then once again, there can be that spinning and the gaze up toward the ceiling if you'd like. And you can use that forearm to press down and help the ribs spin. When you're ready, unwind and come up. Turn the feet. And we'll take the other side. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, bend through the left knee. Any amount up to 90 degrees, you'll see what you need. Inhale, forearm to thigh. Exhale, start to spin. If you'd like to bring the top arm over, you can. You can adjust the feet as you need. A few breaths here. Deepen yourself into the pose. Right, so gaze can just be forward in length, or gaze can be up toward the arm, toward the ceiling. Really pull out of the legs, right, so that we're not falling into the thigh, but we're extending and opening. When you're ready, press into the feet, inhale, and come on up. Good, let's hop the feet together for a small rest. Find mountain pose, steady. Try not to fidget. It's really connecting inward. Building some strength and steadiness and focus and calm. I'm drawing from some of the words I remember on our list at the beginning of the session. And then when you're ready, take the legs out again. We're going to take wide leg forward bend. You might want to bring blocks or chair in front of you. You'll see what you need. Inhale, lift the heart up. And exhale, fold forward. Hands to the chair, the blocks, or the floor. Inhale, lengthen the spine. You might stay right here. Or you might exhale and bring the crown of the head toward the floor. You might rest it on a block. See what you need. If you're coming down, fingertips in line with the toes, elbows 90 degrees, parallel. Main thing wherever you are also at 90 degrees is really press those feet down evenly and see that the sitting bones are in line with the ankles and that the weight is even through the feet, that you're not hanging back with the weight too much in the heels. A few breaths here, steady yourself, focus. And then as you're ready, unraveling, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, press into the feet, lift up, heart up, gaze up. Exhale, back to center. Heel toe, step or hop the feet together. And take a moment to pause. One hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Check inside with yourself. Notice how you feel. Notice your sense of energy now as compared with the beginning of class. You feel less energized, more energized, about the same. There's no right answer, just observing, just checking in. And then we're going to make our way to the floor. Belly down, prone. If you have tenderness or soreness in your low back, it can be nice to take that blanket and fold. So it's right under and supporting the triangle of pubic bone to hip point to hip point. That can be really nice if the low back is a little tender. We're going to start with Sphinx pose. So first of all, lengthen out your legs. You could tuck the right toes, lift the knee, send the thigh back, send the heel back, and then lower the knee and untuck the leg, lengthen through the top of the foot. And probably you'll notice that now the right leg feels longer than the left, so you can tuck the left toes. Lift the knee off the floor, send the heel back, send the thigh back. Lengthen from the hip socket and lower the knee, extend the top foot. Walk the heel and extend through the tailbone. Good. From here, draw the navel to the spine, press into the forearms, and come on up to Sphinx. Forearms parallel, elbows under the shoulders. And you don't have to come up this high. You can make it just a very low Sphinx. You can even just be forehead on the floor and think about it. If that's not in your repertoire today, for any reason. And take this at your own pace. So you can always stay longer than I am, or you can come out a little earlier than I am. Just be in your own, on your own mat, in your own practice. Can leave me as kind of a low-grade background narration. It's as if you can draw the elbows back in space and really drag the collarbones and sternum forward. Forearms aren't actually moving, but it's the feeling of traction and heart moving forward. And then as you're ready, lower down. Take a rest for a moment. Bend at the knees. Just easily windshield wiper. Couple inches to each side with the lower legs. And then lower the legs down. We're going to take locust, often also known as Superman. Arms by the sides. Let's just start with the upper body without lifting the legs. So inhale, send the fingertips back. Lift the shoulders, the head off the floor. Send those fingertips back. Squeeze the shoulder blades toward each other. Come up, take a few breaths. And then lower down. Good, you can rock the hips a little side to side. Now we're going to lift legs and zip the legs together. Feet are together. Take an inhale and lift legs and arms up, shoulders up. You can just be small like mine. If it's more comfortable for you, separate the legs. Extend the toes back, the crown of the head forward. We're strengthening the paraspinal muscles, really important. Lengthen the tailbone, be here and breathe. And then as you look, take anything you'd like as a counter stretch. So it could be windshield wipers, or the feet in circles, or maybe you want to press into your hands and come back to a child pose, or a puppy, or a downward facing dog. Some kind of counter stretch and lengthening for the low back. When you're ready, we'll meet on our backs. And we're going to take a twist. Twists are always really nice, following backward extension. So starting with the knees bent and the soles of the feet on the floor, press into the feet, lift the hips up just slightly, and scooch the hips over like an inch or two to the left. Draw the knees toward the chest. Take the arms out to the sides in a T. The palms can face down or up depending on your preference. And if shoulder height is too high, take the arms just a little lower. Inhale here with the knees high, and then exhale, take the knees over to the right. If you like, you can place the blanket or a block between the knees at any level to just help ease off if there's pressure on the left hip or the low back. It's nice to lift on that left knee. So continue to, you want to have the knees no lower than hip height, right? So the knees are at least in line with the hip. That's to protect our low back, or a little higher even. See what works for you. The gaze is up toward the ceiling, or perhaps over the left shoulder. Again, depending on the mobility in your own thoracic and cervical spine. And see if you can really make this a restful place. So twists are not only wonderful for easing up on tight muscles around the spine and through the rib cage, but they're great for helping with digestion, with blood flow to the abdominal organs and the pelvis. And they really also help with any anxiety that connects with the gut or with tension through the abdomen. And lastly, really good for the opening of the lung, one at a time, and helping our respiration, which is terrific for anyone who suffers asthma or spring allergies. As you're ready, you can bring your knees back up through center. Pause for a moment, reset yourself. Feet to the floor, press into the feet, inhale the hips and just take them, scooch them a little bit to the right this time. Draw the knees towards the chest, arms out at shoulder height in a T. Inhale here and exhale, knees over to the left. And again, feel free to take the block with you, the blanket. We really want to stay grounded and open through that right upper quadrant of the chest, shoulder grounded. Is on this second side, building the inner Mishkan. So in contemporary civilization, we don't have the cloud or the fire as a direct physical manifestation to let us know when to stay, when to go, when to rest, when to journey. So we rely even more and more on this inner sense of connection, of intuition for these kinds of messages. When you're ready, come back to center and give the knees a hug. Any last stretches, and then set yourself up for rest. Shavasana. You can take the blanket under your head or roll it under your knees or undo it and put it over you for some warmth and safety. It's always nice to be under a blankie. Couple moments for rest and quiet inside. And as you're in Shavasana, I'm going to share with you a piece on Pekudei from Rabbi Yael Levy and the book Directing the Heart. Pekudei. As the book of Exodus draws to a close, the work to build the Mishkan, the dwelling for the sacred presence, is complete. The Mishkan was created with generosity and love. It was fashioned by wise hearts and skillful hands. Every gift was honored and each unique offering was of use. The Mishkan was placed at the center of the community, and the Kavod Hashem, the glory of the presence, emanated from within. The presence filled the camp and spoke to each heart. I dwell within and among you. Fashion your lives so as to know me. Weave your days so as to return to me again and again and again. Look for me everywhere. I'm in your words and your deeds. I come through your intentions and the work of your hands. Find me at all times. I'm with you in clarity and well-being. And I'm with you in confusion, loneliness, and fear. Watch for me in the darkness. See me in the light. I am the guide on the journey, and I'm the journey itself. Lift up the Mishkan. Carry the sacred center wherever you go. And practice so as to remember that in all your travels, wherever you go, wherever you are, I am there. Begin to deepen your breath. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Starting to come back to the surface, and take all the time you need to make your way up to a comfortable seat. When you arrive to a comfortable seat, ground your sitting bones, lift your spine tall. We close our practice by sending the benefits of our own practice time, our own fruits, out for the benefit of others. So taking a moment to send thoughts for healing to anyone who is suffering, who needs refuat hanefesh or refuat haguf, a healing of body, a healing of soul, of heart. And healing to those all over the world who are suffering. And to those still held hostage, we don't forget them. And to those suffering in Gaza, innocent civilians who are suffering in Gaza, we send healing. Please expand on my prayers and add your own. And I share with you, as we've been doing every week, Achenu Kol Beit Israel, the prayer for the release of hostages. That comes with our Monday and Thursday Torah reading every week. So please feel free to join me, to sing along in your own space, or just to listen and let this wash over you and through you. Achenu Kol Beit Israel, Achyoteinu Kol Beit Israel, Hanetunim B'tzara Uvashivya, Haomdim Ben Bayam Uven Bayabasha. Hamakom Yerachem Aleim, Veyotziem Mitzara, Lirevacha, Umeafel Leora, Umishibud Ligeula, Hashta Badala, Uvizman kariv. Hashta ba'agala uvizman kariv venomar. Amen. Every prayer counts, every single one of our prayers. Friends, thank you for practicing today. Sorry to take a few extra minutes. Felt important. If this time together or any of the offerings from IJS have been of benefit to you, please feel free to make a donation at any time in any amount. It all goes to very, very good use as we can continue to bring these free resources to you. And Rachel will put that link in the chat. And as always, this class goes on the playlist, the YouTube playlist with all our other sessions, and should be up by tomorrow, so you can check that out. Do check out the Omer course, and I will be dovetailing with it and teaching the qualities of each week as we go throughout the Omer, so you can catch that here as well. And please do consider joining me at the end of April with Sheila Peltz-Weinberg at Kripalu. We'll be talking about the first three qualities: chesed, loving kindness; gvura, strength and boundaries; and tiferet, beauty and balance, in addition to celebrating Shabbat together.